Maybe the problem isn't that you can't find the right person. Maybe the problem is that you were never built for the kind of love the world keeps trying to sell you. You're not bad at love. You're bad at pretending. Jung would say this: your soul is simply older than the game being played around you. While everyone is chasing validation, status, and distraction, you crave something that doesn't even have a clear label, a love that feels like truth, not performance. An old soul woman has nothing to do with age, wrinkles, or how many books you've read. It's an inner tempo. You notice things other people ignore. You feel the energy of a room before anyone says a word. You pick up on micro-expressions, hesitations, inconsistencies, and they keep echoing inside you long after the conversation ends. From a Jungian perspective, this is the mark of a psyche that has traveled. You are not living only from your persona, the social mask, but from something deeper, a quiet relationship with yourself, that inner center that seeks meaning more than approval. That's why normal dating often feels wrong in your body. While many people are comfortable playing the game, disappearing after 3 days, sending mixed signals, treating connection like a marketplace, your nervous system reads all of that as noise. Your attraction is not stirred by the loudest presence in the room, but by something almost invisible: truthfulness. Consistency. The sense that who someone says they are actually matches how they move. And here's the first counterintuitive point. You might think you're too intense, too sensitive, or too picky. From a Jungian lens, you're actually too honest for a shallow script. You don't want a soulmate because it sounds romantic. You want one because your psyche feels sick in relationships built on half-truths. Old soul women often carry a strong connection to the unconscious. Through dreams, intuitions, déjà vu, strange synchronicities in love. You think of someone, they text. You feel a pull toward or away from a person before you have a rational reason. And sometimes you gaslight yourself. I'm overreacting. I'm imagining things. But your body and your dreams keep sending the same message. This is not safe. This is not real. Pay attention. While the world glamorizes instant chemistry, you are wired for recognition, not just excitement. Your attraction is less "he looks perfect," and more something in him feels familiar at a soul level. Deep down, you're not looking for a partner to fill a role. You're looking for a witness to your inner world. That's why small talk exhausts you. You can do it. You can be polite. You can laugh at jokes that don't really land. But after a while, your soul feels like it's shrinking. Jung would say yourself is quietly refusing to be reduced to a pretty image in someone else's story. The old soul woman doesn't want to be the cool girl, the decoration, the supportive background character in a man's heroic journey. She wants and needs to be met as an equal psyche, with depth, shadow, and light. Here's another counterintuitive truth. You think you're behind because everyone seems to be coupling up, marrying, posting photos. In reality, your slowness in love is a form of intelligence. Your soul is negotiating. It's saying, we've played this pattern before. We've compromised ourselves enough. This time, we won't exchange our depth for temporary warmth. When love enters the life of an old soul woman, it rarely feels like a fireworks show that burns out overnight. It feels more like recognition in the bones. A quiet click. A deep exhale. Finally, I don't have to perform. But to arrive there, you often have to walk through phases of confusion and solitude that other people never understand. You may feel like an alien in your own dating life. Too deep, too aware, too awake. You notice red flags earlier. You sense misalignment sooner. And that means you walk away when everyone tells you to just give it more time. From the outside, it looks like you're unlucky in love. From the inside, you're slowly refusing to betray yourself. This is Jung's hidden psychology of attraction at work. Your inner world is already editing who is allowed close. It's not random. It's not just the universe being cruel. Your unconscious is filtering, sorting, testing, asking one core question. Will this person help me become more of who I truly am, or less? Dating apps, curated profiles, situationships, slow fades, temporary connections that feel like trial subscriptions. None of this was designed for women who feel life in high definition. From a Jungian perspective, modern dating is a massive persona marketplace. It's a place where masks flirt with masks. Photos are edited. Bios are optimized. Conversations are short, witty, and strategically vague. The message is clear. Show just enough to be intriguing, but never enough to be truly known. For an old soul woman, this doesn't just feel boring. It feels spiritually disorienting. You're not just asking, "Do I like him?" Your psyche is quietly asking a deeper question. Where is the real person behind this presentation? And here is the counterintuitive part. You might think you're bad at dating because you don't know how to flirt lightly or keep 10 conversations going at once. But the deeper reality is that your self refuses to fully participate in a system built on half-truths. Your body knows when you're forcing yourself to play along. You stare at your phone, trying to respond to a shallow message. You scroll through profiles that all blur together. You feel your energy flatten. It's not just boredom. It's your soul whispering. This is not where your story begins. Jung said that when we over-identify with the persona, we lose touch with the self, that inner center that holds our truth, our values, our deeper path. Many people can date almost entirely from their persona. The charming version of themselves, the effortless, light, non-attached character who just goes with the flow. You can't. You can try, but it costs you more than it seems. After a few weeks of playing cool, not texting first, laughing off things that secretly hurt, pretending you're okay with casual when your heart is wired for devotion, you don't just feel tired. You feel disconnected from yourself. That's why small talk doesn't just feel like noise. It feels like a subtle betrayal. Because while your mouth says, "Haha, sure, we should hang out sometime," your inner world is asking, "Do you even see me? Or do you just like the version of me that's easy to digest?" The modern dating market rewards surface-level compatibility. Do you look good together? Do you have similar hobbies? Do you both like the same shows? But for an old soul woman, attraction is less about, do our lifestyles match? And more about, can our souls breathe in the same space? That's why you sometimes feel more connected to a stranger in a deep 30-minute conversation than to someone you've been casually seeing for months. Depth is your native language, and you feel starved when love only lives in the realm of convenience. Here's another counterintuitive insight. You might think, if I were less deep, I'd be happier in love. But Jung would argue something very different. The problem isn't your depth. The problem is a culture that treats depth like an inconvenience. So you end up in situations where you sense something is off, a misalignment, a hollowness, a lack of emotional presence, long before you have any logical reason to walk away. Your intuition picks it up. Your body feels it. Your dreams sometimes even warn you. And still people tell you, just relax. Don't overthink it. Everyone is like that nowadays. But you are not everyone. You are not built to normalize emotional laziness. You are not built to romanticize confusion and call it chemistry. You are not built to spend years decoding mixed signals from someone who never truly decided to show up. From a Jungian lens, your sensitivity in love is not a flaw. It's a compass. It's the part of you that refuses to invest in connections where the persona is loud, but the self is absent. So if modern dating feels harsh, empty, or strangely unreal, it's not because you're failing. It's because your soul is quietly noticing something true. Most people are not actually dating to be seen. They're dating to be admired, entertained, distracted, or validated. And that's not the kind of playground where old soul women thrive. Jung would say, we don't just fall in love with people. We fall in love with our own unconscious projected onto them. That's the hidden rule of attraction most old soul women feel but rarely understand. The more unresolved something is inside you, the more magnetic it feels when you meet it in another person. This is where the shadow and the animus enter the story. The The shadow is everything in you that has been pushed away. Your anger, your needs, your desire to be chosen, your jealousy, your capacity to say no, your hunger for attention, your need to be cared for, all the parts that didn't fit the good girl, strong woman, or emotionally mature identity you were praised for. The animus, in Jungian psychology, is the inner masculine image inside a woman, your internal sense of what a man is, his energy, his presence, his voice, his role. This inner figure is shaped by your early experiences with men, father, brothers, first crushes, first heartbreaks, cultural messages, spiritual beliefs. Now here's the twist. When parts of your shadow and your animus are unintegrated, they don't disappear. They go looking for a body to live in. So you walk into a room, and out of nowhere, someone hits you like a wave. You feel it in your chest, in your stomach, in your skin. You can't explain it. It's like I've known him forever. I feel so drawn to him, it's irrational. On paper, nothing makes sense. He's not that available. He's inconsistent. He's half present. But your whole nervous system lights up. From a Jungian lens, this is often projection in high definition. You're not just seeing him. You're seeing your inner story of love on his face. Maybe he carries the emotional distance of a parent you tried so hard to win. Maybe he has the same emotional chaos you grew up managing. Maybe his silence triggers the old feeling of having to prove you're worthy of staying. And yet, the attraction feels sacred, fated, mystical. Old soul women are especially vulnerable here, not because they're weak, but because they feel in layers. You don't just feel his words. You feel his wounds. You feel the little boy behind his defenses. You feel the pain he never names. Your empathy starts whispering, I understand him like no one else. I can help him heal. I see the good in him. And you do. You really do. But Jung's hidden warning is this. When your shadow and animus are not integrated, you will confuse inner work with outer mission. Instead of healing your own wounds, you'll try to heal them in someone else. You're drawn to his inconsistency because it feels like a familiar dance. You chasing, you fixing, you proving, you staying calm in the middle of his storm. On the surface, it looks like devotion. Underneath, it's an old pattern trying to replay itself, hoping for a different ending this time. Here's the counterintuitive part. The man who feels like an overwhelming soul connection right away might actually be your unhealed story wearing human clothes. Meanwhile, someone kind, stable, emotionally present might feel boring, too simple, or no spark. Not because they're wrong for you, but because they don't activate your wound. Your body has been trained to read adrenaline, anxiety, and emotional guessing games as passion. A calm nervous system feels unfamiliar. Being respected feels suspicious. Consistency feels almost fake. This is how the shadow and the animus can hijack your attraction. Your inner script might say, love is something I have to fight for. Love is earned through suffering. Love comes with distance, unpredictability, and longing. So when you meet someone who offers calm, clarity, and care, your system doesn't know what to do. It's like trying to tune a radio that's always lived in static. Silence feels wrong, even if it's exactly what you need. Jung's invitation is not to hate your chemistry, but to decode it. Instead of asking, why am I so obsessed with him? You ask, what part of me wakes up when I'm around him? Does this connection make me more myself or less? Am I attracted to his presence or to the fantasy of who he could become? And most importantly, what in me is trying to heal through this relationship? Because when you meet a man who mirrors your shadow, two things are happening at once. Yes, there might be genuine connection, but also your unconscious is saying, here is your wound, alive and breathing, giving you one more chance to see it clearly. For old soul women, this one more chance can last years. Years of waiting for him to choose healing. Years of reading signs, decoding mixed signals, holding space for his pain while abandoning your own. Years of confusing emotional labor with intimacy. But here is the liberating shift. The same depth that made you vulnerable to these entanglements is the depth that can free you from them. Once you start integrating your shadow, owning your anger, your needs, your standards, and healing your animus, updating your inner image of what a man is allowed to be in your life, something strange happens. The old type of magnetic attraction starts to lose its power. The man who once felt like an addiction suddenly looks small. His emotional unavailability stops looking mysterious and starts looking like what it is, a limitation, not a puzzle from the universe. And then another shift emerges. You begin to feel a different kind of attraction, quieter, steadier, less cinematic at first glance, but deeply peaceful in your body. This is what love feels like when it's not trying to fix an ancient wound. It's less, I can't live without you, and more, I can fully live as myself with you. If you look back at your love life, you might notice something unsettling. Your exes don't all look alike, but they feel alike. Different stories, same emotional pattern. From a Jungian perspective, you're not just attracted to people. You're attracted to wounds that match your inner story. Old soul women rarely fall for someone just because they're charming or impressive. Your attraction usually wakes up when you sense pain plus potential. He's been through so much. No one really understands him. He opens up only with me. It feels deep, spiritual, meaningful. But underneath, something else is happening. You're not just drawn to him. You're drawn to the role you get to play around his wounds. You become the healer, the patient one, the safe space, the one who gets him. If you grew up being emotionally responsible for others, calming chaos, reading the room, being mature too early, this role feels familiar. Jung would call this a complex, an old emotional pattern repeating itself in new situations. So your relationships follow a quiet script. You feel an intense pull toward someone hurting or emotionally unstable. You listen, support, understand, make excuses. Your needs slowly slide to the background. You know everything about his trauma, but he barely knows how you truly feel. On the surface, it looks like devotion. Inside, you're slowly disappearing. Here's the hard truth. Some of the most intense love stories you've lived may have been powered less by mutual connection and more by emotional labor. You giving, him receiving. And there's another twist. Being with a deeply wounded, emotionally limited person can actually feel safer than being with someone truly available. Why? Because if they're always the broken one, you never have to fully show your own shadow, your neediness, anger, fears, or longing to be chosen. Jung's question would be, why does love only feel real when you're working hard for it? Who were you trying to save in the past that you're still trying to save now? When that insight lands, attraction quietly shifts. Chaos stops looking like passion. Inconsistency stops feeling mysterious and starts feeling like what it is, a red flag. You're no longer flattered by, you're the only one who understands me, if there's no real reciprocity. Instead, you begin to want something calmer but braver. A relationship where your needs are visible, your pain matters too, and love is not a rescue mission. It's a shared path. There comes a moment when the question quietly changes. You stop asking, why do they treat me like this? And start asking, why do I stay where I am not met? That's the point where your love script begins to shift. Jung called this individuation, becoming who you really are, instead of who your old patterns trained you to be. In love, it means this. You stop choosing relationships that confirm your wounds, and start choosing relationships that support your wholeness. The old script sounds like, I have to prove I'm worth staying for. If I love enough, they'll finally change. If I understand their pain, they won't leave. This isn't your essence. It's survival. Maybe you learned early that love meant emotional work, that you had to be the calm one, the mature one, the one who holds everything together. So as an adult, you unconsciously recreate it. You plus someone emotionally limited equals home. Rewriting your script doesn't start with a better person. It starts with a better position inside yourself. Instead of only asking, do they like me? Will they choose me? You begin asking, do I like who I become around them? Does this connection honor the woman I'm becoming? Is my body relaxed here or constantly braced? You listen less to the persona, the cool, patient, endlessly understanding version of you, and more to yourself, that inner center that whispers, this is costing too much. In practice, the shift is simple but radical. You stop over-explaining your boundaries. You stop staying just because you understand is trauma. You notice how you feel after being with someone, expanded or drained. You start treating confusion as a warning sign, not a challenge to fix. From the outside, it can look like you're getting pickier. Inside, you're getting clearer. Your shadow, the part of you that also needs care, protection, and reciprocity, comes back into the picture. You stop seeing yourself only as healer and start seeing yourself as someone who must also be held. As this happens, your attraction changes. The emotionally chaotic man who once felt like destiny starts to feel heavy. His inconsistency stops looking mysterious and starts looking like what it is, a limit. At the same time, people you once dismissed as too stable, too simple, begin to feel different. Their clarity and emotional presence don't feel boring anymore. They feel like relief. Your nervous system is slowly detoxing from chaos. Jung would say your inner animus is updating. Your inner image of what a man is shifting from distant, wounded, hard to reach, to present, accountable, emotionally alive. Soul-level love, for an old soul woman, doesn't explode like fireworks and vanish. It feels more like a body that relaxes instead of tenses. Conversations where you don't shrink your depth. Conflict that leads to understanding, not emotional war. A steady sense that you can be fully yourself and still be held. The crucial shift is this. You're no longer attracted to people who require you to abandon yourself. You stop romanticizing being chosen someday. You want to be met here and now by someone actually available. You may still feel grief, endings, disappointment. That's part of being human. But the pain no longer comes from betraying yourself to keep almost love alive. The same depth that once trapped you in painful bonds becomes the depth that now refuses to settle for anything less than mutual, conscious, soul-level love. In the end, this is what Jung's hidden psychology of attraction asks of an old soul woman. Not to love less, but to stop abandoning herself in the name of love. You are not here to be the healer, the emotional cushion, the background character in someone else's unfinished story. You are here to be fully you, in friendships, in solitude, and in love. Protecting your heart now means being emotionally unavailable for what confuses, drains, or diminishes you, and deeply available for what is clear, kind, and reciprocal. It means listening to your body when it tightens, saying no when your soul feels small, letting go of chemistry that only exists where your wounds are being pressed, and slowly, almost quietly, your attraction changes. You stop chasing intensity and start choosing peace. You stop asking, will they choose me? And start asking, do I choose myself by staying here? Because the moment you become loyal to your own depth, you stop orbiting around half-love. You become a woman whose presence demands truth, not through force, but through alignment. If this resonated with you, let it be more than just a nice idea. Pause and ask yourself, where am I still abandoning myself in love? What would it look like to choose my depth, starting today? If you felt seen by this video, let me know in the comments. Tell me which part hit you the hardest. And if you want more Jung-inspired, soul deep psychology for old soul women. Like this video, subscribe to Hidden Mind, and share it with another old soul woman who needs this reminder. You are not too much. You were just never meant for shallow love.